Hello there, welcome to our reflection. You'll see by the candles that are lit, we're in the second week of Advent, a time of preparation for us all, I'm sure. You've just heard the piece of music from Gospel, Prepare Ye the Way of the Lord. And I know for many of us, Advent is a time of preparation in all kinds of different ways. We look at the adverts and we see from the adverts the kind of priorities people put on preparation for family occasions, for getting all the right food, buying all the right presents, and indulging in the joys of our material world. And yet even, one advert, I gather it's part of Christmas is meeting an alien and sharing a mince pie. But Advent is a season of preparation for us all. But one of the statements that's been made on a particular advert is that the very best bit of Christmas is food. Well, of course, food is an important part of Christmas. It's an important part of life. And yet I think the most important part of Christmas is Jesus. We remember that Advent is a time for listening. We remember John the Baptist was in the wilderness and he said, prepare the way of the Lord. He spoke about preparing the way of the Lord by listening to the voice crying in the wilderness. We forget that in the wilderness, it's the desert and the mountains create a megaphone, a catalyst for the voice that's being spoken. It echoes around the mountains. And so if somebody spoke loudly in the desert, everybody would hear it. It would be unusual because there wouldn't be a cacophony of voices normally in the desert. There would be stillness, quiet. And then almost out of the darkness, out of the wilderness, a voice would come, prepare ye the way of the Lord. And people would be startled. People would be shocked. People would be aware that there was something different in the air, literally. And they would hear that voice and it would make their bodies tingle and make them examine themselves and reflect, what is this voice? What's changing? Heralds were common in that day, shouting, prepare you the way for the king. And they would lay robes over the paths and take branches and lay them on the paths so the feet of the king didn't become dirty from the mud. John the Baptist told them not just to do that, but to lower mountains and raise valleys. That's how important this newborn king was going to be. And that, of course, is Jesus himself. We live, don't we, in a world where there are so many voices. It's so hard to find quiet in our world. Everywhere we look, it seems people are wanting us to do things or buy things or be things. There's so many pressure groups, much media, so much on the internet and social media, not least things like this. And yet, I would ask you in this Advent season to be still, to find a place of peace, and to try and find that still small voice that is still calling out in the wilderness of our world today. I would ask you to listen for the voice crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. I wonder how you are preparing for Christmas. It's in some ways easier to prepare the food and prepare the drink, to prepare the place for family and friends, to prepare the external things, but harder to prepare ourselves for the internal things, the things that truly matter. I hope that in our hearts we will be able to have a place ready for Christ to come. Prepare ye the way of the Lord. I remember this week I've been going around to all the schools in our parish sharing the story of the grumpy innkeeper, and he was not prepared at all for the coming of the Christ child. Everybody was banging on his door and he was very miserable indeed. His idea of a perfect Christmas was a quiet, silent night. And yet when he finally, at the end of the story, barged into the stable and looked into the face of Jesus, he found the true meaning of Christmas, that peace that comes with the presence of the Christ child. May I wish each one of you the peace and holiness of Christ in this very special season. And when Christmas Day arrives, that you may find that voice of Jesus crying in the wilderness, speaking to you. God bless you on this second week of Advent. and forevermore. Amen.
The Lord bless you and keep you.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Lord, turn his face toward you
And give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you
and be gracious to you.
The Lord turn his face toward you
And give you peace.
The Lord bless you
And keep you.
Make his face shine
upon you.
and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you
And give you peace.
Amen. Amen.
Pray a blessing, manna rain down from heaven. This isn't second guessing, we know that we are protected. May the peace that surpasses all understanding be our message. Grace and favors in your nature, in your
May
essence.
his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations,
And your family, and your children,
and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his